welcome all my Hot Shots fans. I hope you guys are having a great day today. A great happy Friday, right? Friday with coffee with Chris. What can be better? Uh, so I hope you guys are doing well today. This is, I don't even know what episode this is, 4 or 5, whatever we're doing, but we're going to keep on going because this is a lot of fun for me. And I hope you guys are enjoying it, that are chiming in every week and sending me some of your questions and all this stuff about gourmet coffee and the coffee experience that we do at Hot Shots. But not only that, if you have questions about coffee in general, definitely send them my way, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. And so we do this show every week. If you're new here, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. If not, definitely like our Facebook. If you're on Facebook, we really appreciate that. And we have a lot of fun. We talk about coffee. We talk about a little bit of news and things that are related to coffee. And then we also talk about the gourmet coffee experience with Hot Shots and what we do, the latest projects that we're working on, and some of the latest events, so that you guys have a good idea of what our service is like when we come to serve you on location. So this week, I wanted to first kind of start talking about, of course, we always start, if you watched me for the last couple weeks, you know what we start with, and we start with a nice cup of espresso here, or coffee. In this case, today, we're going to be talking about espresso, and I'm also going to tell you what I used to make this espresso this morning. It's a new product from Lavazza. If you don't know, that we are actually a Lavazza distributor, and so if you need any kind of products, shophotshots.com. We have all kinds of great coffee products there for you guys. Really higher end coffee products that you're really not going to find anywhere else. We have our own coffee. We have an event blend coffee, really geared towards the event market that we serve. And so all my industry friends out there and people that love coffee and love what we do, you guys got to check that out. We have our event blend. We're coming out with a couple other coffees as well, to really kind of meet what you're wanting. But today I'm going to talk about, this is Lavazza's Gold. And they have a couple different options. And I've talked about Lavazza in the last video about their K-Cups and their pods. And as long as we've been in business, we've always done things in that realm. So I know a lot more about K-Cups, pods, capsules, things like that, that your average barista and your average coffee connoisseur would probably stay away from. I love a great cup of coffee no matter how it comes. But if you want to know, and you'll see a lot of our reviews, if you haven't followed our YouTube channel, I say go out there and check out our YouTube channel, because we do a lot of reviews on that type of stuff. So if you're interested in anything that you get locally and things for your home and stuff like that, in other words, I like to do reviews on that, whereas a lot of other people like to do reviews on just ground coffees and all these other different things. We like to do both here, but I like to give you something that a lot of other professionals and people don't give you. So the other part of why I'm talking about that is there's a machine that I'm using, and also this glassware, which I'm going to get into, was a gift from my fiance. So I wanted to share that with you as well. But let's first talk about this guy here. I'm just going to basically lift it up. But this is Lavazza's Classy Mini. And this is basically a little espresso machine. And the great thing about this espresso machine is that it actually has two different options here. It's even programmable, so you can typically program the top two buttons to give you a certain amount of espresso. But basically, this opens up, you drop in your Lavazza Blue. So Lavazza Blue has been a line for a little bit over 10 to 12 years now. With Lavazza, it's kind of their equivalent to like a K-Cup or an espresso, actually probably more like an espresso. And even the quality of coffee is far beyond an espresso. So this is a new product line for Lavazza. They have another kind of, I would say, a little bit uglier Classy that's a little bit cheaper. And I think they've done away with that one now. But that's the one I actually have at my office. I use it every single day just about. And that thing is the great thing about these machines. So let's go back a little bit. Lavazza's been around for over 100+ years. And the thing that I love about Lavazza is their machines, their equipment. It's all made by the very top cream of the crop cream of the crop Italian espresso brand makers. So um, this isn't like a Keurig. This isn't even like an espresso or anything like that. Even though it may look a lot like this, when you want the highest end, think of you can buy a Lexus, or you can buy, like a what else? What's another brand I'm thinking? But anyways, you can buy a Lexus. You know what I'm talking about. You can buy a Mercedes. You can buy these different cars, or you can buy a Ferrari, a Lamborghini. So I look at Lavazza, Illy, Segafredo, those kind of brands. I'm biased. I love the Italian coffee. I love the Italian craftsmanship. And that's where we go with our business. And that's where I kind of lean with my coffee. But, as well, I always talk about this, to each their own. I love whatever you love. So if you love the 7-Eleven coffee, power to you. I think that's great. If you love Keurig, Nespresso, I think that's great as well. So anyways, we're going to have this in our store, shophotshots.com. So if you're interested in this machine, it's a nice, hefty little machine. It's very beautiful. I don't know if you can see that on, it says Lavazza on the side, but it's just a nice little machine that you can utilize. Now, it only does a Lavazza capsules, their blue line, and they have several different flavors. But what I will tell you is, if you really like coffee, for instance, I just got one for my mother. She loves coffee. She's part of the person who got me into this business. And she was tired of the Nespresso. She was tired of the K-Cups and the Keurigs and all that. And so now she has one of those Lavazza machines, and I think she's loving it because there's different levels of really good espresso that you can put in there, and you get a great turnout every single time. So the crema is really, really good. There's something about this gold one. They have Lavazza Blue, so that's their line, just like a K-Cup or, an espresso capsule. The espressos are different levels of intensity, different levels of, I would say, even maybe not acidity, but really different levels of intensity. So you can even do a double shot in something like that. It comes in a capsule as a double shot. You can do decaf. They even have capsules if you wanted to do hot chocolate. Now, we did this many, many years ago, but I wasn't a real fan of powdered milk. But they do have it, and it actually does a pretty good job. Powdered milk and hot chocolate that you can brew into one of those things as well, and tea. And the tea, I will tell you, some of the best lemon tea I've ever had came out of a Lavazza or a Lavazza Blue capsule. So there's a lot of great products. If you're interested in that, let us know. Shophotshots.com. It's probably not up there right now, but it will be up there if you guys are interested in those type of coffees. I'm also going to do a review over that machine, as well as some other machines here in the future for you guys on YouTube. So definitely check that out as well. Other than that, let's get into it, because we're talking about that. Oh, the other thing I want to talk about, this is a beautiful, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Baccarat, but Baccarat is a very high-end brand, and I was very surprised and happy. It's actually on our wedding registry, so you guys go out there, check that out. But my fiance got me this, and this is actually pretty cool. I just wanted to show it to you guys. This was a birthday gift. My birthday was last month, but this actually holds, you can see the little cuts there. This holds these espresso cups, and these are beautiful. These are probably some of the nicest espresso glassware that I've seen. It's really fancy, really nice. Baccarat, if you know who they are, they have some very high-end glassware. They have some very high-end stuff. Now, I don't have this on our website yet. I wish I did, but just wanted to show you guys how beautiful this kind of setup is. And it's great for in the office. I put it actually right behind me here. But it's just a beautiful setup. And there's not a lot of stuff out there geared towards us espresso connoisseurs and coffee connoisseurs. But that's something that I got, and it was a wonderful gift. So thank you, Liz. I know you're watching. Um, One of my biggest fans. So thank you. Okay, so let's get into some news here. So I was going through basically some news earlier, and I saw this, and I thought this was pretty interesting. Pretty interesting article, basically talking about a golden ratio coffee, and you've probably never even heard of this. I really haven't. So this is something new. It looks like, and basically, this gentleman came up with this where he was tired of acidic coffee, going to gas stations, things like that, to have this coffee that would really do a number on his stomach. And there's, we've noticed over the years a lot more people are sensitive to coffee and sensitive to this stuff, not just caffeine wise, but also with their stomach and everything else, which is understandable. And so there's been a lot of things out there trying to approach this. And one of the things I'll go back and say about Lavazza coffee is, to me, so good is that most people, when they have it, when they've never had it before, and I know this sounds kind of a rant on Lavazza coffee as a promotion, but realistically, I'm going to tell you, if you love coffee that's not very acidic, but that is very, very smooth, and something that just tastes great, Lavazza, I would strongly recommend trying Lavazza coffee and really trying their espresso, and getting into their espresso. That's one of the great things I like about their espressos and coffees is it's non-acidic and it's not really bitter, even as an espresso compared to a lot, even Nespresso. I would even challenge you against that. So anyways, this golden ratio, basically what he has created is he went around and he tasted all these coffees. This is the gentleman here. I think his name's Clark Nolan. And he basically tried the coffees in Seattle and all these different places and really wanted to come up with a lighter roast, which that's kind of what he tried, was light roast coffees. But then he came up with pretty much this golden coffee. And now it almost looks like under extracted coffee, like just a really, really lightly brewed coffee, which would kind of be my issue with it. Is if it's something like that, I mean, you might as well be drinking a tea, and that's really kind of what his goal is making this. Basically, they're claiming it's a lighter roast, but it's pretty much brewed the same way. I'm assuming, I haven't seen the instructions yet on it, but I might want to get this and do a little review about it just because it's something that's new and popular. But really, it's I wonder if it tastes just like under extracted coffee. And like I said, their goal is to kind of make it like more like a tea. So either way, I think power to them. It's a really cool. It looks like a really cool type of way to make coffee, and from the roasting process to probably even brewing, and it actually comes in tea bags. So all my friends out there, this is kind of how it comes. It's called the golden ratio, and they even talk about the caffeine content. But if you want to check out this article, it's on Forbes. Just type in golden ratio or golden coffee and it will probably come up, I'm sure. So yeah, I think it's something that's pretty interesting. I'd like to try it before I'd even, like everything, I like to try everything before I even make a recommendation on it. But, there's a lot of different types of coffees out there that are coming out. There's mushroom coffee, which I haven't tried yet. But there's a lot of different things. We're kind of in this world now where people want coffee, but people also want things that maybe don't have as much caffeine, don't have as much acidity. And to be honest with you, I would be surprised. I feel like a lot of this stuff, and maybe even this gentleman, a lot of this stuff comes from people having just bad coffee. I can't tell you how many coffee shops, even locally, and some of you guys might hate me for this, Me personally, I'm not a fan of some of these coffee roasters locally, and I'm not a fan of some of these coffee shops locally. And we went to one of these very famous ones here in the local area with my fiance, and Liz was drinking some coffee, and she literally, like, we sat down, they had a nice bar. And so we sat down at this bar and was basically just waiting on our coffee. They had about 6 baristas back behind the counter, and we just, every time I go, Liz knows my mental process. But I didn't say anything, so I was really, really good. But I didn't say anything. I just sat down. We had some espresso that took a while to get, and then she had a coffee, but she tried my espresso, and she literally tried it and made that sour face, like that. And so I was like, whoa, I'm surprised. I'm bringing up a connoisseur over here. So yeah, so it's interesting after you taste really good coffee, like Lavazza, Illy, some of these other Italian brands, in my opinion. And you go around and you try different coffees too. We like to go to different coffee shops. It's kind of like a hobby of mine. And so once you start trying coffee and you start finding what people are doing and different unique tastes and things of that nature, you really start finding what you like, which is the first thing I think is important. But not only that, I feel like a lot of these places, when you go out there and you try their coffees, you start finding out that, hey, if you only go to 1 or 2 coffee shops in your local area, or you brew your coffee strictly at home, you're not going to find out a difference between coffee. You're always going to like that single brew or whatever flavor or what have you that's out there. So, I always like to challenge people. I say, hey, listen, go out and try different coffees, and then really focus on trying to find some high-end coffee. Try that. I'll tell you another story. The first time I ever went out, I've drank wine before and things like that when I was at a little bit younger age than I am now. Legal to drink, but at a younger age. And I would try these different wines, right? And you go to the grocery store, and you guys that are wine connoisseurs or alcohol connoisseurs, you know what I'm talking about. You go out there, you buy wine at the grocery store, you buy cigars if you're a cigar aficionado. You buy these things locally and you try them, and you're like, you get used to it. Or if you've never had anything better, you wouldn't know the difference. But it's not until you try that, in my case, an Opus 1, and I tried that, and I literally taste the smokiness of the barrels and all this type of stuff. I was just kind of blown away. I was like, wow, this is actually really, really good wine. I've never had this before. So that was something I thought was interesting, and that would be my challenge to you, is really go out there and try these different coffees, try something new, try whatever it is, even food. Try something outside your boundaries. You might be surprised how good it is, and you might not have to come up with a whole different way of doing coffee. You could just find a really good one that would suffice. So, but power to this guy. I think it's great. The other thing I wanted to show you guys was the single cup pour over. Has saved my mornings during lockdown. Now, this is kind of interesting because if you follow our YouTube channel, this is actually one of the brands that we represent as well on our site at Shop Hot Shots. And we don't have this product up there yet, but we will. Fellow makes all kinds of coffee products. More, I would say, higher end coffee products. So think of like Williamson Sonoma type style of products, things like that. And so they have this pour over unit. Now, pour over units, if you know much about pour over for the most part is a pour over. You could have a glass and just something that could hold a ground of coffee in a bag, and you'd probably come out with a pretty decent pour over. And it's funny, in this article, this person actually talks about when they do their pour over, they don't even weigh the grounds, and they don't measure the amount of water they put in or its temperature. So, but they have a good result. And partly of that could be because of the Fellow system that they have here, which I would not bark at. Like I said, I would say that, you could brew anything out of anything, right? And I don't think personally there's a huge difference, like huge difference in how you brew coffee. You know, that's kind of the one of the things that you probably, the little secret that you won't hear from any other barista or roaster, telling you that the difference between all these things is not so greatly that it's going to change your mind and change your life. I would probably be one of the few that's going to argue that, because I'm not trying to sell you anything on this. But what I will say is, you know, having good quality products is not just about taste. It's also about how easy is it to clean? How easy is it to, how long is it going to hold up? Is it going to break? Things of that nature that you always need to take a good look at. And personally, I just like to buy high quality stuff. If you're like me, you like to buy good, high quality things that you don't have to keep buying because something breaks on it or gets worn out or what have you, or you have to buy little filters and things like that. So, bringing that back to the subject matter, the next YouTube video, our Hot Shots TV video that we're launching, you're going to see something from Fellow, and it should be out here in the next day or so, throughout the weekend. And yeah, so basically I also wanted to show you guys this article, not if you're just a someone who likes pour overs, but Fellow has this pour over unit, which is pretty cool. We don't have it yet, but the other thing is what I'm going to show you in our in that video I'm talking about is the Stag X Fellow pour over. We just did the review over the Fellow Stag EKG actual kettle, which is electric kettle. So if you guys are interested in that, guess where you can get it? shophotshots.com. And we're going to follow up with some more of these things. We have several products now from Fellow, but this is the next one on our list that we want to make sure we get in stock for you guys. So anyways, just letting you know that we have these products. And if you're interested in pour overs, the great thing about pour overs, and this article explains it pretty well, is that, you know, if you're tired of spending a lot of money at the coffee shop and you just drink black coffee, a pour over might be something good for you to really get into and try. And the reason for that is, one, it's a lot cheaper, and two, you can have a lot more control over the type of coffee that you want and the style of coffee that you want. So, you know, pour overs are great. You're going to have the right equipment if you want to have it premierly the best and think you have the best coffee ever, then get the right products. And like I said, that's a debate based on who you are. But personally, I like to have the high-end quality stuff because it's going to last. And I can tell you, Fellow has a lot of great products. And check out my video that's coming out this week. It's going to be a review over the Fellow Stag EKG model. And they're almost like an Apple because they've created now a kettle that you can control with your iPad and tells you the right temperature, right coffee, weight, and all this type of stuff right on their system, and when to brew, when to time it, all kinds of fun stuff. So we'll go over that as well. So anyways, that's pretty much the two articles I wanted to talk to you guys about. Now, finally, I wanted to just tell you guys we're kind of having a sad moment, my fiance and I, and some of you guys out there that are close to our family, you know what I'm talking about. But, you know, so our wedding that's scheduled right now is for September 26, 2020. So think about that. That's less than pretty much 2 months away here. And we're all gung-ho about going forward, moving forward with our wedding. We don't want necessarily the whole COVID situation to stop what we're doing and you know, what we want to do together as a couple is have our wedding. And one of the biggest challenges is right now is, you know, the mask mandate. It's not really a challenge. Like, I've already given you guys a lot of my feedback on the mask mandate and what I think vendors should do and all that. I'm not going to reiterate on that. But something that I thought was interesting. So our venue is actually a brewery, or a distillery, I should say, and it's out in Fort Worth. And they're actually closed right now. So that's where our reception is going to be. All our other vendors, we did it right, and we worked really hard to do this right. And this is what I tell you guys out there that are planning your wedding or anything like that. I tell you, you got to do it right. And the best way to do that is you have to check in with your vendors, venues, all that. Find out what they were doing even 3 months ago. Find out what their process is and really find out what their mentality is. And unfortunately, even our venue, which has been amazingly great with us, and we did the walkthrough just last month, and we kind of got everything under control of what we want to do. But unfortunately, anyone that does over, I think it's 51% alcohol and has a TABC license is supposed to be closed down right now. And the confusing part is, I just talked to the venue yesterday, and the biggest challenge is just finding out that they can't do anything because TABC is telling them, hey, if you open up and you serve even one alcohol or what have you, because we consider you a bar and you're selling this alcohol and all this type of stuff, that they'll take their TABC license away. And it's really hard for me to understand this because, one, I'm a business owner. I really think a lot of businesses out there, to single out one business and to single out a type of business that really is along the lines of many other businesses. And, I'm not trying to say this to make an argument or anything, but I find it really challenging right now because we even went to a restaurant last night. I went to go out and pick up some food. And I saw people sitting at a bar at this restaurant having beer and wine and everything else. And I'm thinking to myself, there's people in this restaurant, which is a somewhat popular restaurant, drinking beer and wine. Now, they were social distance, but they were literally sitting at the bar. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, what's the difference between a restaurant bar and restaurants serving food and having close distance and everything else, even though they're social distancing? But you're still near people that you're going to have to take down your mask and you're going to have to talk to them and you're going to have to eat food, or sit at a bar, which I don't think was right. But at the same time, that's what we're dealing with. So right now we're up in the air, even with our wedding is the main moral of the story. And, we're really hopeful that things open up here. We're looking at August, that things are going to open back up because a lot of schools around here in Texas are opening up so that everyone goes to school. All the kids go back to school. And it's going to be hard to make the argument, well, these bars and stuff need to be closed, I think. So anyways, I just thought I'd share that with you guys. I know some people out there really are firm on the mask mandate and firm on all this stuff, and I believe that is the case. I believe that should be right. Everything should be safe and done safely, but I don't like the double standards, especially when it comes to business, and I don't like singling out businesses when there's other businesses that could fairly much do the same thing and have a problem the same way as another business. So hopefully that makes sense. But other than that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode today. Thank you for joining me with Coffee with Chris. Every Friday, I am here in the morning to have coffee with you and us talk about things. Let's see real quick if anyone, I want to see if anyone asked any questions. I don't see any questions there. And I got a heart from Liz. So you guys that want to ask questions, don't be bashful about asking questions about us as a coffee experience, about me with coffee knowledge. I'm here to help you out, and we could talk about anything. You want to talk about the mask mandate? Let's talk about the mask mandate. You want to talk about COVID-19? Let's talk about COVID-19. Other than that, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you have a wonderful Friday today. I hope you guys are still washing your hands and wearing those masks and being comfortable at home. We'll get through this eventually. But, other than that, I'm going to sign out with you guys. And I look forward to seeing with you guys next week. Also, last thing I'll let you know. If you're not following us on Facebook, you can see down here. We have our Facebook, we have our YouTube, we have all these different channels. We even have a TikTok now. So if you're on TikTok, follow us, Hot Shots Catering, right here, Hot Shots Catering. Pretty much search that in any search engine, and you're going to find us in that social media platform. So search us, like us, friend us. We want to be a part of what you're doing, and we want to hear more from you, but we also want you to be in touch with us so that you can see everything that we're doing and stay up to date with all this great stuff. So other than that, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a great weekend.